Hey everyone, friends! This is Mozart. In this video, we're going to talk about new entry points. So, right now on my chart, I have Bitcoin. So basically, the limit order I set is shown on the screen. It's $73,470. I'll also post it again in the Telegram channel. And everything that happens next with this trade will only be in the Telegram channel. The link to it is in the description below this video, so you don't lose it. Stop at 66,800. Take profit at 79,990. So, the stop, as before, is based on the condition of closing the daily candle below the red line. What else can be said here? Why exactly this entry point? Well, look technically. The candle from yesterday is very good and very bullish. That is, the volume here is about 2.5 times higher than the average volume, the average monthly volume. A similar last volume was during the March sell-off. There was one like that on March 20th. Well, and about the same volumes were at the end of February, when Bitcoin had another 20% increase from the top. Plus, we closed above the monthly R3, Cavet, AF. The candle closed almost in the upper third, meaning it was nearly a 100% bullish close, and we even broke through and returned to this local green channel. Technically, this is specifically if we look at candlestick analysis. But if we dig deeper, for example, looking at indicators that can't be ignored, yeah, we see divergence forming here. So I think I'm not the only one seeing it. It's quite clear. And pronounced. It can't be ignored. It feels like it's almost a triple divergence, but only in the RSI. In the MACD, a double is still forming. Plus, the strength of the RSI index throw isn't very high. As of October 25th, it was around 73, with a maximum of 74, which is normal, but it doesn't give me complete confidence in my abilities. Well, not 100%, but at least more than now. So, there's a normal trend. Starting here, a normal trend. Here, and good throws with a strong trend. For now, the indicators don't really give me grounds to think we're going to rocket up without a correction. It's important to take that into account. It's important to consider all the tools available to you. Plus, regarding the channels, we have a lot of small intermediate levels here. These are the levels where the price might stop during a correction. If we look purely at the technicals, there are channels that the price also reacts to, like this local green one that we return to, or this slightly more global white one. There's an even more global channel, for example, like this. Recently, he drew a lot of them. The question is where it becomes open. Nobody knows that. If there is a correction, that's why I set a limit order, so to speak, with a small buffer, roughly speaking, along the lower boundary of the green channel. Yes, it might go back under the white channel, but let's say there will be a retest with a quick return. We'll see. If we go down, buy back the limit order, and settle somewhere even lower, and also break out from under the green channel, I'll probably close it right away. I won't wait for any stop losses. I'll just take a small loss. And probably the most important thing, which will determine the further movement, is that we have a conference. The Fed's interest rate decision today at 10 p.m. In Moscow, it used to be at 9 p.m. Now it's at 10 p.m. The time has shifted by an hour and there will be a press conference half an hour later. The expectation is that the rate will be lowered by 0.25% and that they will give a signal about what will happen next. But again, I assume, and not just me, that under Trump, the number of rate cuts will be less than under the Democrats. He has a tougher stance on inflation, and these were essentially his campaign promises. This is evident in the dollar index, which jumped incredibly after Trump's victory yesterday. This is the strongest spread for the dollar index, almost 1.7%. 1.7%. So, what options do we have left here? This is the ATA zone. Okay, we broke through it, even closed above the ATA zone. Now we're retesting it. The question is, how will we retest it? So, either what we have now will be enough. Well, we actually dropped to around 74,500. That's it. We'll hang around here and then shoot up to 80. That option exists. If everything goes well at the Fed today, and they lower the rate by 0.25%, and signal that they will cut it another 1 to 2 times this year, then we'll probably take off further. The second option is they cut by 0.25%, but don't say anything else, it's unclear. We'll probably correct. to the limit order, maybe even a bit lower, right here at 72. Well, we'll see what kind of buying happens after that. Or they might not cut the rate at all, for example. Unlikely, but let's say. Well, then we just absorb all this movement and head to the lower boundary of the white channel. When I get stopped out here, I'll be working off new signals, and the divergence will come into play. Most likely, that's how it will be. But that won't cancel the global bearish trend. It will just stretch it out, plus the situation with Iran and Israel is still unclear. They all promise to respond from Iraqi territory, from the axis of resistance, from somewhere, when this will happen. So we need to keep that in mind, but we can't predict it. Therefore, we rely on what we know. And I found some compromise. At this buying price for now, 73.470. Well, let's say if it doesn't reach the limit order, stays here, and goes to 80, that's fine. Next, I'll just set a limit order somewhere here for a retest and so on, then the request based on the indicators will be decent, and the divergence will be resolved. Or it might just go straight to 85. Then it will be great overall. Everything is perfect for altcoins. This is the first limit order I placed. The first trade. The second one, Solana, you see, it's the same thing. Let's not drag this out. The reasoning is more or less the same. With Solana, the situation is about the same, a similar divergence, but it's a bit better because we had a false trend reversal, where my limit order was filled on November 4th, when we closed a full well done with you, and the trend was broken. But then yesterday it was broken back, so it's actually a false breakout. And a false breakout tends to retrace. Well, if it's a false breakout downward, to the height of that false breakout. In this case, it's a V-shaped absorption right around $200 and is looking. Here, the situation might be a bit more confident than with Bitcoin, even despite the divergence. Nevertheless, I set a limit order for a retest at the channel at 157.9 because 198 to avoid setting round numbers. As for Ethereum, I mentioned yesterday that I don't want to get involved with it yet. It's bouncing back strongly over the last 2 days, you can't deny that. We're hitting the yearly moving average again, that purple 200 moving average, and that white daily 200 moving average, plus some smaller moving averages below. It's all unclear with Ethereum. Just let it break out somewhere, let it establish itself, then it can shoot up and correct strongly. I don't want to take it here, even though it looks decent. What looks decent? It's actually great for altcoins. Ethereum is a marker for the altcoin zone, total 3 capitalization. Without Bitcoin and Ethereum, it looks great too. I like how it looks. Once again, we're breaking through the 200 moving average. Just wonderful. On good volumes. Yesterday, the volume in Total 3 was quite massive, similar to what we saw in March. The last time we had this volume was on March 6th, during that trading activity in Total 3. It's just wonderful. Really good. Historical volume, a breakout, a solid candle, it's hard to argue with that. So even if we go to retest something, it still looks upward afterward. And it looks upward, as I mentioned, at the closing of the April drop, when the first rockets flew out of Iran. Here we have $720 billion, and if we get there with a good impulse, then according to the indicators, we could reach it, for example, without divergence. So why not redraw this high and move into the second, very strong wave of the alt season? So, basically, what's happening right now? Yesterday, there was a strong move on Litecoin. That candle was incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. It's really nice. Well, this is in the context of my midterm positions in altcoins. I'm saying, this isn't about me buying something like taking a futures position on Total 3 or anything. No, this is just in the context of my expectations. For now, there are 2 trades, 2 pending orders. Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum, if it goes higher, to establish itself above more important levels than what we have now. That's it. That's the deal. Thank you all for your attention. This was Mozart. Soon we'll find out the results of these trades. Well, or we might not find out if the limit orders don't get filled. In any case, all the information will be in the Telegram. See you all later.